good, YouTube? It's Adam from My Music Mogul. Welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to go ahead and remake from scratch Drake's No Face featuring Playboi Carti. The tempo for this one is 126 beats per minute, and the track is produced by London CYR, Connor Sewer, and OZ. Let's start off with that main buzzy bass sound that we hear throughout the entire track. For that, we're going to go ahead and bring in Logic's Alchemy, and we're going to bring in a preset called Heavy Buzz Bass. Here it is right over here. Next, let's go ahead and draw on that pattern. This note will actually be muted, but I'm just putting it there for our next pattern. And that note is going to be played into our next bass, except we got to change one thing on this sound. We'll open up Logic's Alchemy. We're going to go over to Advanced, and we're just going to turn off, or sorry, we'll just slide down the glide time so that there is no glide. All right, the next thing we're going to do is open up an EQ and just take out some of the lows. So we're just going to bring it to something like that, because there will be another bass to fill out that bottom end. For that sound, I'm going to go ahead and create a new software instrument track. We're going to go ahead and bring in a preset from one of my preset kits. It's called From Toronto Views. The bass preset is the BA or bass Moog bass. And we're just going to copy down the same pattern. I'm going to pitch this down a couple octaves. I'm going to play this note back into this pattern, except we're going to split this bass by 2 tracks, and I'll show you what I mean in a moment. But for this pattern over here, I'm going to go ahead and just mute all this. I just want to layer up this first space here, this first note. All right, so let's go ahead and solo that out. We'll open up Logic's ES2, and we'll just adjust the sound a little bit here. First thing we're going to do is going to pull down the cutoff. Focus really on that low end Reese Bass type sound. We're going to take out all the resonance. We'll add in a little bit of drive. And we'll just pull back the detuning a little bit here. All right, the next thing we're going to do is pull up an EQ, and we're going to make this a little bit darker sounding because we are layering it with the other bass. So let's go ahead and bring in a high cut filter and just bring this down quite a bit here. All right, next let's go ahead and duplicate this bass track and get to that other note. So we're going to go ahead and duplicate that up. We'll copy down the same pattern. And for this, we're just going to flip the notes. So we're going to mute that first note and then bring in the other notes. So let's go ahead and mute that, hit M on our keyboard, bring these back. So the reason why I wanted to treat these separately is because this bass is going to be a little bit brighter. So let's just focus on this note here. Open up Logic's ES2, and we're just going to pull up the cutoff. All right, so there is the main foundation to the track right there. Next, we're gonna go ahead and create a new software instrument track, and I'm gonna bring in a nice clean sub. We'll bring in Logic's ES1 synthesizer. We'll bring in a bass preset I like to use a lot, the D bass for subs. We'll close that out for now. Let's just copy down this pattern right over here. All the notes will be playing on this one, except that's a little too low. Bring it up 1 octave. Let's open up the cutoff to bring in some buzziness. All right, and then we're gonna open up EQ and just take a little bit of that buzziness out. Just a little bit. And now all together, we can blend this in. Next, let's go ahead and get to the drums. We're gonna go ahead and create a new software instrument track. We're gonna go over to our software, or my library right over here. I'm gonna go to the drum kit I put together for this tutorial, the No Face drum kit. Here it is right here. We're gonna start off with the easy part, which is the rim shot. So here it is right here, the No Face rim. Let's go ahead and just draw it on the 3. All right, next let's go ahead and draw in that open hat. So it's really just one hit right here that gets repeated. All right, now the hi-hats. So the first thing we're gonna do is change this over to 8, hit this, and give ourselves a 2-step pattern. Right here at the end, I'm just going to give it a little bit of a roll. right, so that is the first section to the track. Next, let's go ahead and create the second part. What we're gonna do is just duplicate all this over. It's gonna be completely the same, except we're gonna add in the kick. And then over at the end of the pattern, we get a nice little roll. All right, and all together, it sounds like this. All right, next, let's go and bring in that stomp. So all together. All right, let's move on in the track to section 3. So what we're gonna do here is we can copy this over, but the pattern is going to change. Instead of this one note, we're gonna go from, let's go and just change it up like this here. So we're gonna go like that, down to the C, down to the A. Now the other bass will follow the same patterns. And once again, we'll copy that same pattern to the deep bass as well. And lastly, for the bright pattern, we're just going to focus on the last 3 notes. And this is going to be a quick one, so it's going to stop right there. All right, next is going to bring in a synth pad. We're going to create a new software instrument track. We're going to design this one from scratch. We'll go to Logic's ES2 synthesizer. For this one, we're going to go ahead and just change our oscillator 1 and oscillator 2 over to a square wave. Leave it in the middle mixer over here, and we'll just turn off our third one. We'll leave that for now. Next, we'll go ahead and draw on the pattern, then come back to the sound design. All right, next, let's get to the sound design. We're gonna pull our cutoff filter over to this side over here. We're gonna pull up the cutoff. We're gonna pull up FM all the way. We're gonna pull up some analog detuning here to about like 2 o'clock-ish. I'm going to detune this oscillator as well to give it more of an analog vibe. So I'll pull it up to about 25 cents. All right, the next thing we're gonna do is add in some chorus to soften that sound up. So let's go ahead and go over to Logic's modulation chorus. Here it is right over here. We'll go over to the slow chorus preset. Then we're gonna go ahead and just add in an EQ. Take out some of that low end. Take out a little bit of the top end here. And just bring up some of this sort of spice here. All right, so that's section 3. Next, let's move on to the next section. We're gonna copy over everything the same right here. We're gonna take in our, let's bring over our open hat. We'll bring over the rim. It's gonna sound like this. Except we've got to extend those bass notes for this pattern. We'll extend this note as well. We'll extend this note out. These we can take out here. And we'll extend this last buzzy note as well. All right, next let's switch up the hi-hat because there are a couple more rolls in there. Let's just copy over our hi-hat pattern from here. We're gonna change it over to a 32-step pattern this time. And this first one right here gets a 4-note repeat. And then right at the end, we're going to get in a couple more rolls as well. We're going to go ahead and just put a 6-note repeat roll on all of these last 4 hits. Next, let's put in that new kick pattern. All right, next let's go ahead and bring in that keyboard pluck sound. We're going to create a new software instrument track. We'll go over to Logic's Alchemy, and we're going to bring in a preset called Completely VA Suitcase. The only thing we're going to do is add in a little bit of reverb here, and that's pretty much it. Next, let's get to the pattern. And that just loops itself over the 4 bars. Except we got to do some more sound design to it. Next, let's soften it up with some chorus. And I'm going to use a preset here, the Mega Wide Chorus. Then we're going to open up an EQ and we're going to take out a lot of the top end here. Then let's bring in that piano pluck. We're gonna go over to our piano presets in our browser here. We're gonna go over to processed and we're gonna go over to the daylight piano preset. Let's go ahead and draw in that pattern. So I'm gonna duplicate that over the 4 bars, and we're gonna take this and just duplicate it on the octave as well. We're just going to take these top notes and push them off a little bit. And we'll just take out some of the top end here as well. All right, next let's bring the last synth pluck. We're gonna bring in Logic's Alchemy instrument. We're gonna go over to the preset. It is called Afterthought. If I can spell it properly, here it is right here. What we're gonna do here is just pull it over to the dreamy muted performance. We'll leave everything as is. The only thing I'm gonna pull down is the delay and reverb. Maybe won't be leaving everything as is. I'm gonna pull up the attack a little bit just to give it a softer hit and just stretch out the decay. Pull down the sustain so it stops when I stop the note, and the release, I'm going to pull that down as well. Now let's get to that 1-note hit. So we're going to copy down the same piano pattern over here, solo that out. So we're only going to use this 1A over here. Except we've got to make that a little bit darker and a little bit more fuller with some space. So for that, we're going to go ahead and bring in an EQ. We're just going to take out some of the top end here. Don't want that compressor. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and bring in a reverb. Let's go to Logic's Chroma Verb. I'm gonna bring in a preset I like to use. It is the Effects Cave preset. Take out some of the low end here and just pull up the brightness here. Pull down the wetness level. Maybe bring that down a bit. And together. All right, and last but not least, let's bring in the last section or pattern. So what we're gonna do for this one is just go to our first pattern over here, copy that over. And we're just gonna bring in a clap. It happens literally right at the end here. So let's bring in a pattern region, and let's focus on our last bar. And we're just gonna put in 2 claps. but that's only going to happen at the end. So let's just cut all that out. And we gotta add in that kick. All right, so that is pretty much the beat to Drake's No Face featuring Playboi Carti. Next, I'm going to go ahead and mix it, arrange it, and when we come back, we'll take a listen to the full rank we just put together, Drake's No Face featuring Playboi Carti. So that right there is No Face by Drake featuring Playboi Carti, remade in Logic Pro. If you're Logic Pro users out there, I'm going to go ahead and save this entire session for you. Place it as a downloadable link below this video. If you don't use Logic, I got your back as well. I'm going to go ahead and export all the MIDI stems, audio stems, and of course include the drum kit that you heard in this remake. You can find that entire playback down below the like button as well. If you have a question on this or just want to chat or have any suggestions for future videos, let's go and chat down below. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next one. Later.